All right, guys. So let's talk about language learning and how AI is affecting this entire industry. This is something anybody that's ever tried to learn a language, I think there's a lot of people that have tried to learn a language but have not been very successful. Part of it's because price, part of it's because maybe the method, part of it's just because the idea maybe seems like a really good idea. So let's dig into this and I'll give you my experience and we can dig into some of what's happening right now, 2026. So a human language tutor costs between, on average, say $25 to $50 an hour. I think you can get it cheaper than that if you're hiring people from third world countries if you dig around. But if you want a really good, solid one that's qualified for sure, an AI tutor costs $8 a month. Same language, same daily practice, same real time corrections on your pronunciation. 400 million people were priced out of consistent language learning instruction. Not because they didn't want it, because they couldn't afford it. That gap just closed, and the story of how it closed is messier than the headline. Whoops, wrong image. So that's the one we want to look at right now. There you go. So language learning has always had a dirty secret for a long time, for sure. I remember this when I was first trying, before the internet was even that big. It was largely a product for the affluent. The gold standard was always consistent one-on-one time with a native speaker that cost $25 to $50 an hour. If you wanted to reach conversational fluency, you needed hundreds of hours. I would argue thousands of hours. Do the math. For most people on earth, that was never accessible. I suppose hundreds of hours with a teacher, but then thousands of hours, I guess, practicing with natives and other people. And then again, some people just have an aptitude for language. They just really do. Just like some people are really good at sports. Classroom instruction was cheaper but slow and inflexible. Yeah, there's so many people I know. I've talked to so many people that have taken 4 years of Spanish and they can't communicate. Yeah, they know some grammar. They've memorized a bunch of stuff, but they just can't hold a conversation in a real life situation. And they lose it real quick as soon as school is out. But, apps like Duolingo made the gamified basics free. But a streak on Duolingo does not make you conversational 100%. I tried Duolingo, and to me, it's just so boring. I couldn't just, yeah, you got to be so dedicated to play around and just kind of be on that constantly. The gap between dabbling and actually speaking was always filled by money. In 2026, AI tutors hold full conversations in 9 or more languages. They adapt to your current level in real time. They correct your pronunciation immediately. They remember where you struggled last session. They are available at 2 a.m. and they cost less per month than 1 hour with a human. I have still yet to find an AI Spanish tutor that really, really just hits it on point. Every time I've tried one out, I'm always kind of a little disappointed on one thing or the other. I don't like having to click lots of buttons and then click record every single time. I prefer to just create a project in ChatGPT, use the voice mode with mobile. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it. And you set up a project and then you set up multiple different chats with prompts. You can have AI actually help you with this. And then you can practice just different types of things in those specific chats. And you can just talk freely. And it's almost talking with ChatGPT so far, I feel is the best. As far as the LLM models, it's the most natural and you can pick the voice you like. I've tried Grok, I've tried Anthropic, I've tried Gemini, and they're all getting much better, but still I think ChatGPT kind of has the best one so far. Eventually it won't matter, right? So, a streak on Duolingo does not make you conversational, of course, and I've kept the Duolingo unable to, I did Duolingo for a while and it didn't really help me much at all, like I said, and I've tried other apps and I've always quit pretty short. I think a lot of the apps model is kind of like a gym membership model. It's like they get you on it, and then you keep going. Well, I'm going to get back to it, so I'll keep my membership. Because I'm meaning to start practicing. I'm really going to start up again, and then you just kind of keep paying that monthly, even though you're not really using it. And then you might use it once or twice, lose interest because it doesn't work very well. But AI is going to change that. But you really got to want it, and you really got to dig into it and put the hard work in. Is what I found. In April 2025, Duolingo CEO Louis von Ahn announced the company was going AI first. Roughly 10% of the contractor workforce was cut. So this is another example of AI taking jobs just when when you least expect it. As we say, knowledge-based jobs are going. The translators and writers who had built Duolingo's courses, the backlash was immediate. TikTok and Instagram flooded with criticism. Duolingo temporarily deleted all of its social media content. Fast Company ran a piece tilted going AI first backfires on Duolingo and Klarna. By April 2026, the CEO had walked back part of the policy, specifically the decision to evaluate employee performance based on AI usage. Yeah, I wonder what that means. The employees needed to be using AI for what? For all the business? I mean, I guess that makes sense, but that's just running a business, right? What does that have to do with language learning? The lesson here is not that AI adoption is wrong, it's that the communication of it matters enormously, and that real people losing real income is not an abstraction. The contractors who built those courses were skilled workers doing skilled work. The fact that the shift is structurally inevitable doesn't make their situation less real. Yeah, Duolingo temporarily deleted all its social media content. That's crazy, right? A company with 400 million users, one of the most recognizable apps in the world. I mean, they did a great job of marketing. Like, everybody knows what it is, but try to find somebody that says that they actually learned a language on it. Maybe it helped a little bit here and there. Yeah, they looked at the comment section and thought, you know what? Let's just not have social media right now. Let's just delete it. So, anyways, what can AI do? How should we be looking at it, at least now? It's such a moving goalpost that, you can't sit there and go, well, AI can't do this or can't do that, because 6 months down the road, it can do that maybe better than you ever thought, and more, and some, and things that you didn't even think about. So here's the honest assessment of where AI language tutors actually stand in 2026. They are genuinely excellent for daily conversational practice. I can attest to that, but once again, you can just do that in ChatGPT in the talk, any language you want. Building vocabulary in context, correcting pronunciation in real time, and maintaining the consistency that most learners fail to sustain on their own. The research on hybrid approaches is encouraging. AI daily practice combined with a human tutor weekly is producing conversational fluency in 6 to 8 months, compared to 12 to 18 months on traditional methods alone. Yeah, who's becoming fluent in 6 months? I would say that is definitely the rare case, just period. It's just the way humans are. Unless we're immersed for 6 months, and you're working on it at the same time and you're studying, 6 months it's a tough one. What AI still cannot replace: advanced speaking at the nuanced level. That's the key word, nuanced. Cultural context, once again, that only a native speaker carries. Every country you go to, they have slang and things that you just will not find in AI, you will not find anywhere. And you will constantly find yourself going, what does that mean? What did you say? The accountability of human relationship and the kind of personalized coaching that identifies your specific blind spots and won't let you hide from them. The human tutor market isn't dead. It's being repriced upward. The commodity N, basic weekly sessions for casual learners, is gone. The premium N, deep expertise, cultural fluency, genuine accountability, is worth more than ever. So if you're a Spanish teacher and you're afraid that AI is going to ruin your business because maybe you just work online and you have clients and it's hard to sell, hey, why don't you pay me $25 an hour or $50 an hour to, just basically to converse with you and correct you, when AI can do it. And AI is never annoyed. AI is never tired, doesn't yawn. You can criticize, you can say whatever you want. AI will never get angry or mad at you. You can, you can talk about anything that you want, private, you name it. And AI won't judge you. Basically can't. It's not a human. But anyways, what I was going to say is, I think if you're an AI, if you're just a regular Spanish teacher and you're trying to do hourly, I think you should encourage students to use AI because it is a better way for them to get lots of practice. But what I would encourage is that you are, that you can work with them once or twice a week to really focus in on expressions, nuanced sayings, and really kind of listening to where they need their practice and correction, and and using that emotional connection, which AI can't really do yet. But like for example, I'm learning Spanish and I'm at about an intermediate level. And I've tried everything because I'm just not really good at languages. I do not learn them very fast. I'm slow. I'm good at other things. And I wish that if there was like say a Costa Rican language tutor that was a specialist in all the Costa Rican slangs and expressions that are so common here, that I could see having a session once a week with that person, and then I practice on my own, and then I really dig into like a lot of the expressions and things that I just won't hear, won't understand, and they just fly over my head, like that kind of a thing. But at the same time, a Spanish teacher who has the education and the training, it's I think it's a good niche. Try it out. Think about that. You can sell that. Eventually, AI will have all the slang and all that, but right now the slang, it mixes it up with all different countries. I've tried it; it's not very good yet. Yeah, the commodity end is gone. The premium end is worth more than ever. So I want you to hold this sentence and apply it to whatever you sell. If what you do is transferable into a repeatable digital process, the price pressure is coming. Exactly. So if you basically just run people through like a plan, whatever, an outline, that's going to go away, right? You can't really do that. You can't put them on a progressive plan because once again, AI can plan that and really help people. I mean, it's just unless people just want to talk with the real people and they got the money once again, right? And they don't mind spending a lot more. If you want, if what you do requires your specific judgment, your earned instincts, your genuine relationship with the person in front of you, the price ceiling just went up. Yeah. Another thing that I saw one time at a Spanish school in Costa Rica, but this is nowhere where, is they would do these Spanish lessons, and it was a small town. It was a really cool little town that you could walk around really easily. And one of the things they would do that you could opt for is you could just walk around and just do stuff in the town with your Spanish teacher. So you could walk around, check out the shop, stop at a coffee shop, go walk in the park and stuff like that. Like that was really cool. And you would just talk instead of sitting in a boring chair and, looking at documents and all that. I thought that was a really clever way of doing. But now you're dealing with people and maybe weirdos, and and of course be careful where you're walking. This was in the town, so you would only walk around the town area, which was public, and and it worked. But I thought it was an interesting method. All right, so 3 moves for the solopreneur, right? That's what we talk about a lot, is are you an entrepreneur, solopreneur? That's what I am. And I think that is what a lot of people are going to have to do, because the whole corporate work structure is going away, because people sitting in offices doing data entry, doing call support, doing anything that has to do with math and spreadsheet entry, you name it, that kind of stuff that is repeatable, AI will do it, and it'll do it better, faster, without complaints. Yeah, so a lot of people are going to have to start thinking about becoming a solopreneur. It's just the way the world is working. All right, so first, if you've been putting off learning a language for your business, stop putting it off. Spanish, Mandarin, French, Portuguese, pick the one relevant to the market you want to reach. Use an AI tutor for daily 20 minutes, 30 minutes session at whatever cost suits you, and then add a human tutor once a week, just like I just said, for the nuance and accountability. You can reach working conversational fluency in under a year at a fraction of the old cost. The barrier that stopped you is gone. I will say that when you know you're talking to a real person, you tend to be more alert, and your brain tends to work a little differently. When you know you're talking to AI, at first it's really impressive, but something in your brain kind of goes, this is a machine, even though it sounds like a person, and I don't have to take it very seriously. I don't have to give it the attention that I would normally. But when you're talking to a person, you have to give a certain amount of attention, or that person will be offended. So, there is something there. Second, if you teach a skill and you charge by the hour, understand that the commodity tier of what you do is being undercut right now. Anything that is a skill, knowledge based, that you would do, say, via computer. This is not a warning about the future. It's a description of the present. Move up market. Work with less clients, charge more, be very specific about what you offer. It's what I'm working towards. Charge for your judgment, your relationship, your accountability, not your time. And third, notice the pattern. Every market where consistent one-to-one human instruction was the only way to learn something well is being restructured by AI tutors right now. Language is the canary. Apply the same lens to your own field. Exactly. So I want to learn a third language, but I've been holding off because I haven't quite gotten to where I feel like I'm, really good in Spanish. I've created, like we talk about AI in this channel, I've created my own Spanish apps on Lovable because I find these ideas and I'm like, I wish an app would do this. Like I created a list generator, I created a subjunctive verb practice, and I used them for a while, but then I got bored of them. And I just created another one, which I found a YouTuber who basically has a system, a polyglot, and claims that you should learn this way because none of the other systems really work, and it's the closest to immersion. And I took his entire video transcript, I dropped it into Notebook LM, and I said, look, I want to turn this into a system that I can use and then eventually make an app. Created me a system that I could try out on ChatGPT, like I said, using a project and chats. And then I just dropped that into Lovable, and Lovable coded it up. I haven't tried it yet. I just did this today. But AI, there's so many things we can do, and it's just getting easier and more friendly. So your age is your experience, as we say, age to win. So Duolingo made the headlines because it moved fast and communicated it badly. The real story is quieter and bigger. 400 million people just got access to something that used to cost $1,000 a year minimum. That's democratization. It has a human cost and it's real. The question for you is which side of the shift your business is on and whether you've made a deliberate choice about it. I wonder where things are going to go because they're already developing apps that you talk and then it just translates to the person and that person talks and it translates back to you and you like put in an earpiece. Are we just going to get lazy and just start using these kind of things? I don't know. I mean, maybe not yet, but eventually it'll be so good that maybe we just all speak all languages through translation. Maybe we won't even speak anymore. Maybe AI will get so smart that it'll turn into a form of telepathy and we'll just think things and then the thought will just get basically transferred straight into the person and it won't matter what language we speak. All right, I'm going into science fiction mode here, but anyways, guys, subscribe and we're going to keep hitting on these topics, and it's all based on AI. And really, as I am in my 50s, I want to stay on top of this and try to find a way to make this work and share what we're learning. We learn this together. So until the next video, let's get it.